time to go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this weird corner of the internet. Except those who are easily offended. People who don't like bad form. People who take life too seriously.
You'll never make it out of here alive.
Anyways, letting rest. Or not at all helpful host, Hickory, the dang and underwhelming. TDAU Live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's TDAU Live, episode 18B. Two boys talk turkey and trimmings with Max Trubin. I tried to get another couple T words in there, but it just didn't quite work out. Those of us who pay attention to grammar and English. Anyways, it's that episode. Holy shit. I was looking back on the episodes. We're like, this is like the fifth pre-Thanksgiving episode I did. And don't get me wrong. Some were different. There was the Drunken Under Quarantine show. That was like the first 4 years. But this was actually the first episode of TDAU Live I launched last year, which made me realize this probably should be episode 1 of season 2. But yeah, we're just going to ride it out. Probably till New Year's, and then we'll switch over to season 2 and then just do it that way, because that's how things go. Anyways, I got a very good friend of mine, Max Trubin. Not everybody makes friends online. Not everybody makes friends in person. The Drunken Underwhelming seems to be doing both currently. I say the Drunken Underwhelming because, full disclosure, it's the night before Thanksgiving. I'm going to enjoy a cocktail or two while live on the program. I know I had a lot of sober time, and I'll be returning to a lot of that. We're actually going into the next weight loss phase just after Thanksgiving, starting Saturday. Will be a good cut through probably February, with the exception of Christmas Eve and Christmas, because if you track your calories on Christmas, you probably have a fucking problem. Just saying. Yeah. Anyways, I'm glad that a wild week's over. I've been exhausted. It's been crazy. I spent a lot of money on turkeys this year. Not me personally, but me and the work life. There's been some great photos that have been posted in the past couple days. Anyways, there's lots going on, but we got a lot of shit to get into, because me and Max got to talk about shit that's been going on. We got some fun shit going on, both nationally, but also locally. And thirdly, I pulled up some clips of the Drunken Under Quarantine show and TDU Live. So I'm going to live react to those later on in the show, after we get out most of the things we need to talk about. But let's get into this program, ladies and gentlemen. I've been rambling enough. I'm your host with the turkey hat on, HickoryTDAU. Welcome to TDAU Live, episode 18B. Let's do this.
Yeah, back, baby.
Are you saying you want to show me your tits?
This is the story of a drunk who grew up kind of a punk, and then all his friends left him, and now he's here alone. This is the story of a drunk who grew up kind of punk, now he's here doing the dang and underwhelming live show.
This is a weird show.
Dang and underwhelming live show. Dang and underwhelming live show. Dang, 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 dang and underwhelming live show.
Yeah, that's right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's TDAU Live, episode 18B. Two boys talk turkey and trimmings with Max Trubin. Max, the guest right over here. That's right. Thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, and happy early Thanksgiving to you and everybody out there watching.
That's right. It's a time to celebrate. As you can see, the only time of year I break out a stupid turkey hat. That's right. It's Thanksgiving show. The pregame show, which actually, fun fact, is the biggest drinking holiday in the country. Yeah, we bring that up every year. Because even though I've had some good sober times, it's the day before Thanksgiving. It's time to let loose. And cheers to everybody out there. Sean said, we all fall off our righteous path, but that's okay. Wicked ways, sheesh. Yeah, no, I agree. And it's one of those things like where some people can do the moderation thing, and some people can't. You got to figure out where you are, and realize that like it's a if it's a 10 days or under throughout a calendar year thing, you can handle it. If it becomes a 300 plus days throughout the calendar year thing, you need to fucking realize that you have an issue with it. And I even say that about caffeine, my friends, because those of us who slip through life just depending on, hey, and I'm very guilty, my friend, of having a serious caffeine habit. I'm not throwing shade at those who enjoy the sweet comfort of more caffeine than the ADA would recommend. But yeah, one of those.
See, they got caffeine drinks out there though, bro, that are so loaded with caffeine.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you might, like you're gonna be a fucking. People are gonna think you're tweaking if you have one of them. Like 400 milligram plus caffeine. You take one of them sons of bitches. That's it. You're done.
the pre-workout market's up to like I think 600 is the most I've ever seen on label. In like a yeah, no,
A
that's like
single serve.
insane. Yep, that is I cannot imagine. Like I've never taken that much caffeine at once. Other than like, there's definitely some times where what do you got? Monster,
This is a monster.
uh,
And I don't. I think they're like
100, 140.
140. I believe you are absolutely correct.
Yeah, that's
So
an
there's not a lot
ultra.
of caffeine. Yeah,
What
and it's an
flavor
ultra.
is
So
that one?
this is the peach flavor, which I've never had before
Uh,
until tonight.
yeah, peachy keen. I like that one.
It is
Not
good. I'm not.
yeah, not something I would choose as my daily driver. You know what I mean? Like it's not one of
Uh,
those that I would pick for full time. And it might be for some. I'm just not a peach guy overall. The most recent one they put out was lychee, ultra lychee. That one, pretty fire. Oh, I forgot to change the overlay. I didn't mean to do you bad like that, Max. Oh, where'd it go?
what happened? What did I do?
Oh no, I just forgot to switch the overlay to have your name it. There we go. It's been a long week, dude. I've worked like fucking 60 hours in the past week. It's been I purposely took a week off from the gym. Um, Mostly because like I thought I'd be able to go. So I'm at the point in my life where I have two gym memberships now, right? Like I have one to the local one that's like right near work. It's super convenient that that place is closed like every holiday. Like any excuse they can find to close the place, they do.
That's
So
the
I'm like,
gym I want.
okay, it's not bad. Like they have a few machines, and that's fine. They have a great free weight barbell setup. Like they have a great bench. They have a great squat rack, and they have like one of those like it's not a Smith machine. It's just a barbell with a path. Like it's it's not a Smith machine because it doesn't only go up and down. It definitely has like forward and back movement. I forget what they call that. It's not a free motion machine because I'm pretty sure those are the ones with like the cables. Uh, they have some great options there, and basically anything you can want to get done if you know what you're doing is totally capable. The issue is that they're fucking closed like every major holiday a lot of the time, and I'm just like, like I'm not hating on the holidays. I don't want Martin Luther King Day to be a day that I don't train. like, like I'm not hating on Labor Day, but I don't want that to like pop up and be like a day where it's like, oh, you're not going to the gym today because the gym isn't open. So we got a second membership, and I was gonna go tomorrow morning. I was like pretty stoked about going hammering like a really heavy, aggressive leg and back day right before Thanksgiving, and just like soaking in all that food and just like being like, oh yeah, my legs are sore, but I am fucking stuffed on pie and turkey, and I've probably eaten like 400 grams of protein today. but we're gonna get like a snowstorm. It's gonna be like a first snowstorm of the year. Like Mother Nature just took a shit on my gains and said, you know what, you're just gonna stay home and make mashed potatoes and stuffing like you should.
You're gonna eat the fuck out of it too. You're gonna like it.
Oh, it's gonna be so good, dude. I've been stoked about this for a while. The most stoked I am about Thanksgiving is like the fact that Thanksgiving means that like my Thanksgiving work is over. Like I'm not dealing with any turkeys tomorrow. I'm
Do you
not
feel that
dealing
people like turkey more during Thanksgiving, or do you think that it's pretty consistent throughout the year?
it depends. Like people like sandwich turkey consistently
Right.
throughout
That's
the
what I'm
year.
saying. Like turkey's like always it's kind of relevant, you know?
Yeah, like as far as like the fresh product of turkey goes, like no, it's definitely it's seasonal. On the flip side, we probably sell like I sell in my small market that I work in, and by small I mean I do like 1.5 million a year on meat and seafood. Uh, we consistently sell anywhere from 30 to 50 pounds a week in fresh turkey breast. And I'm not talking like low priced commodity turkey. This is not butterball. Like we're talking like 10.99 a pound local, not organic, but and not free range, but like at least local enough that you know that they care about the birds. And we probably do like 30 to 45 pounds a week on a normal week. This past week, obviously, with Thanksgiving, I ordered 370 turkeys. We probably sold 300 to 340 between the two stores that I work at. And we're freezing some for Christmas because that's what the turkey farm's going to do too, is they're going to harvest them all now and then freeze some for Christmas and then do another push from around that holiday. But yeah, no, there's definitely a push for fresh whole turkeys around this time of year, and which is not something that happens. I very rarely have somebody come to the department in uh, June and be like, "Hey, man, can I get a fresh whole turkey?"
You don't
But
have
I
that
also
guy
would
come
work
in?
it. I mean, they do happen, but not regularly enough that I remember it. So, like, I would say overall, no, the push for like a whole fresh turkey this time of year is way bigger. The rest of the time of year. That being said, turkey breasts and deli turkey products uh, have that push year round. Like, there's no everybody loves a turkey sandwich. They love it more when it's a fresh roasted turkey with some stuffing on that shit. Just saying.
That's tomorrow, bro.
Just pair
Shit.
all the turkey with stuffing.
You just make you a sandwich that's got it's like the poutine of us regular Americans. We take the bread and then we put the stuffing. We got the turkey. We got the gravy. We got the John Madden of sandwiches made through the buffet that was
Yeah, it's very.
created. It's awesome. I love it. So it's my favorite holiday because it has no denomination. You don't have to be shit to enjoy to eat. You can be anything you want. Just
Man,
eat.
yeah.
Did you get enough to
As
eat?
a
Oh,
as a popular YouTuber I follow, Actual Justice Warrior, said recently he dealt with some videos based on MSNBC and CNN. I know so much CNN, but definitely MSNBC and Joy Reid lists, Joyless Reid,
is that the one that
whatever they
looks like
call her.
Mark Cuban without glasses?
No, that's Rachel Maddow. No, this is
Oh,
the bald black one, saying
I got
basically
you. I got
you shouldn't go to Thanksgiving with your family if they voted for Trump, because they voted
you.
against
Why?
your interests. Oh, the whole point was they voted against you and your humanity. And all I was thinking was like, I don't know if I'm like, this is gonna like sound like out of bounds for some of the people on the show who follow who are not like super politically inclined. Like, I don't know if I feel comfortable like enjoying Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas with like people who supported Kamala. Because we're gonna pull up on the show in a few minutes. Kamala's latest statements sound less sober than the drunk and underwhelming in his fucking prime when he was like hammering like 2 4-packs before he went live. Just to be clear, this is a woman who actively was border czar. Well, 400,000 fucking children went missing. And they went missing because our federal agents were literally just, these kids were showing up with a name, a phone number written in Sharpie on their fucking forearm. And our government was looking at that and being like, oh, Tammy Reed, okay, you have the phone number written on your arm. I'm going to call them. I'm not going to vet them. Like, I'm not going to look into who belongs to this phone number, where it's been registered, any shit like that. And then I'm going to take taxpayer money and I'm going to ship you directly to the people that own this phone number. Which is mind-boggling. Because...
Stop. As we speak, right now.
Oh, it's still happening. Like, it has not been shut down. I'm hoping that this all comes to a genuine end in January. I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. But the fact that these little kids, these based as fuck, as these little kids got sent over the border in hopes of a brand new life and joining an economy and working force and a people that are as loving, even though they've been called racists, they've been called bigots, they've been called misogynists, a people as loving as the American general populace. They got sent over here with a name on their arm, a phone number on their arm. And they showed up, and an ICE agent said, let me see that number. And then they got shipped to a camp that was run by MS-13 or Tren de Aguas or any of these other fucking cartel scumbags that have made their entire fucking living on trafficking children. And then our government spends money to put them on a plane and fly them directly to the trafficking host. It's a fucking mind-boggling what has been going on. And yeah, sorry to go on a drunken rant about child trafficking on the pre-Thanksgiving episode, but I can't help myself, man, dude.
You and me got the same heart.
It pisses me off so much.
Fucking, because what did the kids do? Nothing.
Not a goddamn thing, dude. They're just caught up in it. And the fact that we have a media that's telling us that we should hate the people who have even thought or pretended or done a little bit of research to discover that, like, this is the outcome of open borders. And the policy of just show up and we'll be fine is the fact that a bunch of fucking children have been taken advantage of. And that, yes, and then not only have they been taken advantage of, because that's bad enough, but that our taxpayer dollars are delivering these children to the people who exploit them. It's fucking sickening. And that is like enough for me to be like, I mean, should I really want to sit down? Like, and I'm not a hardened true Trump supporter. But that is enough to make me be like, dude, if you voted for Kamala, like, that's what you're voting for. Like, why should I want to share a table with you? Like, I'm the more decent person for being like, you know what, I'm going to put that shit aside. Even though you have some made up story in your head about how awful Trump is and how he's a fascist and a dictator, and that you've been lied to for years. The fact that you don't want to have Thanksgiving with me, even though I can look at this and be like, child trafficking is really bad. Like, you voted for that. And if you didn't know enough, you were too stupid to vote. So you shouldn't have voted. It's mind-boggling. Sorry, I didn't mean to rant there.
Brother, this
Max, I
is
apologize.
why are you apologizing? You have nothing to apologize about. Matter of fact, the things that you're bringing up and talking about are the exact same reason why you, myself, and millions of other people went the same route and voted for what is best for this
Yep.
country and its future. So, for us to bring this up on the eve of Thanksgiving, which is celebrated here in North America by Americans, as we all are, then it's important to be
Man,
thankful that we're able to do it. Someone that is not able to be here with us tonight that I want to bring a little bit of attention to, since you kind of brought in to this, and I'm just going to segue into if it's okay. I'd like to throw out Lakin Riley and my thoughts and prayers to her family. And if you're not
man, brother.
familiar with that, then it's sickening, like Hickory said, it's avoidable. And the fact of the matter is, justice was not served. And this family, on the eve of Thanksgiving, do you think they're thankful that the man responsible for the loss of their daughter is now being housed and tended to by Hickory's money, by my money, and by your money? Does that seem just to you at any point in any way at all? If it does, then correct me if I'm wrong. But
Mind
if that
boggling.
makes, yeah, mind boggling is kind of where it leaves me. But may she rest in peace. May her loved ones, those who knew her, her friends, those close to her, those that are grieving her loss, everyone who misses her, and everyone that is familiar with the story, she will be missed, and justice has not been served yet.
Amen. Sean said, "Welcome, Max. If podcast guests were a wishbone, I hope we get the fat end tonight." Yeah, no, I won't doubt we do, my friend. Thank you, Sean, for being here. He also said, perhaps the Department of Government
Sean.
Efficiency, hashtag Doge, will tackle the overabundance of government holidays. Yeah, no, they'll always add more. They'll never take one away. That's what you'll notice. They had to add one this past year. They had to add Juneteenth, but they weren't willing to get rid of Columbus Day, even though they say it's the worst thing on the planet. Sean said, out of the top 100 issues to be dealt with immediately, name one that will not be addressed in the mood by the new administration. It's, well put. I couldn't name any that were left out.
I think that the new administration isn't going to prioritize anything when it comes to. And I've heard different things about this as far as rescheduling certain things like marijuana goes. I've heard things that they will do it, but I don't see that being something that is going to be on the first priority to-do list for the new administration
No,
coming
which is
in. I think
unfortunate because we all voted.
brother.
Well, not we all, but a large majority of America voted for Obama in 2008 because they were like, "Oh, he's going to legalize marijuana. He's gonna codify Roe v. Wade." None of that.
He's going to
happened.
teach
I'm
these
not comparing
bankers who's
that
boss.
administration to the current one.
No, after
And then he
Obama's
just
third
handed
term
over a
is
bunch of
over
money
here.
and then killed Americans with drone strikes. Yeah, thank God. 2024 will be very similar to 1945. A lot of people claiming they did not know what was going on or outright they will deny it went down. I feel like that's the truth already. Like we've seen a lot of people online already, like Jon Stewart, Bill Maher, a bunch of these left-wing influencer types, not like the real down-to-earth news types. Like some of those people are still struggling with this. You know, the Kyle Kalinskis, he's definitely had issues, but there's been a lot of also people on the fairly I say roughly fact-based left stream that are still like kind of mulling through it. But a lot of these top people on the left have definitely done a flip flop. We've seen a lot of apologies recently, whether mandated by lawyers or not, and it's fascinating. Like the time we're going through, where the one that really killed me was the YMCA. The YMCA has had a very established, nationally accepted, culturally accepted dance for years, right? It was the YMCA. And fucking Donald Trump came in, and during the course of one political venue that he did, where I guess unfortunately there was a medical event during the show, and the paramedics had to come in and render aid to a person that was there who was attending the event. And to do the polite thing, they just put on music, as opposed to having Trump speak over these paramedics administering aid. So they went on break for a little bit, and they threw on music. And Trump did like a little dance. Just a little dance. And now that shit is so cultural, and it has such a big impact, that it has showed up on UFC, it showed up on FFL, it showed up with celebrities doing it. Celebrities are no longer afraid to say, hey, like, we don't really like Kamala. It's mind-boggling that the shift that has happened in like the past month, Max. It's fucking crazy. Like, have you, as a guy who came here, obviously a giant cultural shift in your younger years, moving from Soviet Russia to the United States. Big, huge shift in going from like straight up dictatorship into fairly free US. At that point, it was corrupt, don't get me wrong, but it was not nearly as corrupt as like what we're talking about now. Did you ever imagine you'd see a cultural shift that big in a matter of months in the United States?
Seen like this before, and the closest thing when I came here originally, being Russian, Soviet, excuse me, and then being Jewish
Yeah, sorry,
during
I
the
don't
course.
mean to. I don't mean to
Well,
misspeak and call you a Soviet Russian or a Russian Jew.
you
Soviet.
it's all the same. I'm
That's fair.
whatever. I'm Jewish. I'm Russian. I'm Soviet. I'm just whatever. But it's the thing that made my life difficult when we'd gotten here is it was the Reagan administration, and Reagan did everything he could to make it very clear that he was not a fan of what he dubbed as the evil empire, aka the Soviet Union or communism. And understandably so. He wasn't a fan, and he was the president. He was also an actor, and what he did was for showmanship as much as it was for politics and policy. Now, I'm not saying Reagan was a bad president by any means, but it didn't make my life as an immigrant Soviet any easier when all the kids' parents are telling them how bad the Russians are, and the president's telling them how bad the Russians are, and referring to them as the evil empire. But being, 40 plus years after that, I look back and I realized that what he was doing was in the best interest of the country, no matter what shady dealings he may have had going on his own, i.e., Iran Contra, et cetera, or starting the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, or going tit for tat with the Soviet Union in the Olympics from 80 to 84. It doesn't matter. I didn't truly understand what it all meant until I got a little bit older, and then it really did sink in that, hey, just because I look the same and I might do similar things, I'm always going to be different, and I'm okay with that.
That's the beauty of America, my friend, is that we can all
Yeah,
be a little bit different, right?
absolutely.
Like you coming from this distinguished background, I'm just a white trash piece of shit from the Northeast that grew up, uh, realized he had more talent than what the local economies were able to afford, banked on that, and then finally had a renaissance and realized, you know what, I just need to share this with the world. And TDAU is here. uh, because I grew up in a place where I never thought anybody from ever here could do anything. And it's been a weird it's been a weird past couple of years, my friend. Especially geopolitical, but also just me realizing, like, yeah, no, the market is not just Boston and New York anymore. That shit changed. And COVID changed it hard. Is that it's like you don't have to be in a major metropolitan area now to reach millions of people. Like you don't have to be in the spotlights of a convention or a show in order to reach millions of people. Now here we are. Sean said, I think Trump used that song to placate the LGBTQ plus 9,000 agenda. The song is literally about slapping cheeks at the local YMCA. Come on, boys, let's go. Okay, Google. Laughing face. Yeah, no, that might totally have been it, Sean.
Sean,
But
you're all right, bro. You're all right. I like
it's
you.
funny that that song had an established dance that was accepted for decades, and then Trump came out with something. I'm like, nope, that's a new dance. Just because he did something on stage. Oh, what a timeline we're in, my friends.
Very strange. Unlike many things, I thought I've seen a lot of things during the course of my life, but I don't think I've seen anything yet. I remember 9/11. I remember a lot of the other, the Challenger explosion, Chernobyl. I remember just
That's
all
wild.
kinds. The
See,
Iran.
I pretty much end it like 9/11 was like the first major cultural impact that I remember. It was the first time like I remember where I was when it happened, like what, like the fallout around me, not fallout necessarily like I was dealing exactly with, what people on the ground were dealing with, but like I guess Columbine technically was the first time that I really remember a cultural event. And like I remember coming home and my mom being glued to the television and not wanting me to see what happened and just being terrified that this thing happened. But 9/11 was the first one where I was like, yeah, at school, and I was like cognizant of what was going on. And like I remember the funny part about that, and not that there's anything funny about 9/11, but my minor backstory on it is that I was in art class, and I was sitting at a table where there was a couple. It was like me and my best friend at the time, and there was like 3 or 4 girls from a class above us. Like me and my best friend kind of thought were hot because they were like the older chicks and they were artsy. And we're all sitting there, and I remember the aide coming in and telling the teacher that something had happened, and none of us knew what it was because like this was pre cell phones. Like if cell phones were a thing, we all would have known that there was like a terror attack before the teacher did, to be honest. But this was before that. This was obviously September 11th, 2001. And we're all sitting there, and I remember me and the kids at my table were talking about how the aide coming in to talk to the teacher like that, like probably one of us were in trouble. You know what I mean? Like one of us were going to get called off to the principal's office, and that we got found there was like some weed in our locker, which might have happened for me or my friend or the other 4 artsy chicks at the table. Like that was a totally reasonable scenario. And we're all sitting there talking about like how worried we are that something was going to happen. And then the teacher kind of like explained like, hey, there's been a major attack in New York, and there's a plane that hit a tower, and there's another one in the air that might hit another tower. And it was funny because the table just went crazy. Like they're like, oh my god, are one of them going to hit a Hoover Dam? Like I've heard if they hit the Hoover Dam that like this many people would be affected and all this. And then I remember getting corralled back into homeroom or whatever it was for the rest of the day and sitting there and just being like, holy shit, yeah, this was one of those things where like I heard my parents talk about when they were in the room in their classroom when Kennedy got shot. They dealt with that. And this is closer to on the ground than we experienced then. And now I look forward to now, like look to now, and I'm just like, I looked down at my phone and saw that Trump had been shot. I was just kind of like, I expected this to happen. like, like on the current trajectory we're in, I'm not like I didn't wish it to happen by any means, and I'm saddened in my heart that it did happen, and we got to that point where the media had been poisoning people enough to where they thought that was like a good thing. But I'm also not surprised anymore. And I don't know if I was. It makes me wonder if I was in the same headspace, which obviously I could have never been because it was back in high school and I was a naive high schooler who was just worried about chasing tail and like trying to get a spot in college that didn't suck. But I wonder back, like, if I was in that position back in, if I was in the same position where Trump got shot back in high school, like, if it would have been the same thing at the same time. Because obviously now at this point in time, like, I doubt even teachers talk to their students about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was like a thing that they talked about. Like, I doubt anybody got pulled to their homeroom. Be like, hey, by the way, the president-elect's been shot. But it makes me wonder, like, if I had seen that same news at that same time, like, if it would have had the same cultural impact. I don't know. I might be rambling. It's the Thanksgiving show.
What you're saying is totally relevant and intriguing to me on so many levels that I have questions because I think that what you're telling me really affected you in a way that made you a whole lot more aware and in tune to what was going on around you and how it affected not only you but everybody else and what the long-term events you might not have realized at the time, but now looking back, hindsight being 2020 and what it is, you could see where we are 24 years later, 25 years later, whatever. Mathematically, I'm a little bit off, obviously, but I'm rounding up. But to look back at it and say that it was just a thing that happened and we ought to forget about it would be doing it a great injustice. And to
Yeah.
be able to bring it up and speak to it, I think is huge.
Sean said, do you think that's weird? Wait till you hear the new version of Jingle Bells. Total disclaimer, my last statement is direct misinformation. I'm still writing lyrics. I hope you do, Sean. I would I wanted to write another second version of Santa Baby by MC Molasses, but I haven't gotten there yet. Max, you got a
Speaking of
second?
which,
I'm gonna run another room
you
for a
do
second. You good? Okay.
you do your thing. I'm gonna try to do my best to be the man and keep this party going because nobody likes dead air. Guys, thank you for being a part of this tonight. I know it's the eve of Thanksgiving and there's plenty of other things that you could be doing, but instead you're here with us and we appreciate that. I know I greatly appreciate being here and I'm thankful for not only being here with my friend Kyle, but I'm appreciative of being here where I am with my family, where I am in life, where I am in the United States, being blessed and the good Lord has been looking after me my entire life. Maybe I didn't realize it until I got older, but I'm very thankful for it. And no matter what type of adversity you or anybody else is going through, be thankful for what you have because it's no type of way that I'm going to minimalize anything that anybody may or may not be going through. But I want you to know that somebody's always listening, somebody's always out there, and we can all empathize with certain things. And a lot of us, we can sympathize as well. So be thankful for everything that you have, the liberties that you have, the ability to do the things that you are able to do, the ability to do things that I'm able to do here in the United States as an American citizen legally. I would rather be no other place but here. This is where I belong, and I am blessed to be here. And I'm blessed to be a part of, you know, having a friendship and starting a friendship that, I've been now going nearly a year with. This is, I think, fourth or fifth time on Kyle's show, and it's been a great time every time. He's extremely entertaining. He's very insightful, intelligent, and he knows what he's talking about. So thank you, Kyle, for allowing me to be a part of this. So many turkeys to hang out with, and I have chosen y'all. Well, Mr. Henry, I thank you for letting us be your pre-Thanksgiving turkeys. Thank you, sir.
That's right. Gobble, gobble, Sean. Thank you for being here, brother. Oh, we talked about some heavy shit on the show, but I wanted to pull up some clips from the past few years because it made me realize this was the 5th year that I've done live streams for pre-Thanksgiving. And so I've prearranged, pulled up some clips of past shows. I don't know how these are going to look because, to be honest, the first 2 seasons we did on Zoom because we didn't know better, and StreamYard kicked in, and we did 3 and 4 on there, and then I defected, and it became TDAU Live after GW left. That was actually a year ago, to be fair. A year to the date was the first episode I came back with TDAU Live, episode 1. And I take some time off in October after the Drunken Under Quarantine show ended, which was partly because I needed a break, and also partly because GW left the show. I don't know how to put it any other way. GW, I love you. And GW was actually going to be here for the show tonight, but unfortunately, he was doodling in his chair, from what I understand, and fell back and grabbed his desk, and his entire setup took a plunge. So, wishing all of the Thanksgiving turkey and trimmings goodness to GW, and hoping that his setup isn't as much stuffing as he thinks it is. I hope that most of the things survived, but yeah, that was unfortunate. Otherwise, GW would have been on the program tonight celebrating episode turkey with the boys. That's right. But yeah, I'm going to play some throwback clips. This is from season 1. This was episode Turkey featuring Matt Vita, who is now gone on to produce movies. But I figured we'd play the first little clip of the intro. I got a couple of these lined up, and it would just be kind of fun to do on this pre-Thanksgiving episode. I hope you don't mind, Max.
Absolutely not, brother.
So yeah, this was back in the Drunken Under Quarantine show, season 1, 2, and 3, where we used to do a spotlight segment where every person on the show would have like a 5 to 10 minute segment where they would just perform. Oh, no audio playing.
Sean said it also. Yeah, we didn't hear any audio. I put it in the private chat, but we couldn't. I think it might. If I'm seeing it right, and I can't, because even with glasses, I have horrible vision. But we did not have any audio. We had the video, but we did not have any audio.
Okay, let's try this.
I feel
There
like
we
it's
go.
my fault though, so I take responsibility for it. I am the scapegoat of the show tonight. I am responsible
That's it.
for
Good
anything that
evening,
goes
ladies and gentlemen.
wrong.
Welcome back to another
Can you hear that now?
episode Turkey 1
Perfect.
of the
Can you hear it?
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Drunken Under Quarantine show, presented to you by Will and Mill Comedy Club.
This is season
I, of course,
1, just to
am
be clear.
President-elect Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming. I will be joined by Vice President-elect G.W. Foley and Secretary of State-elect Colin Doyle, and also the man who is not an elect because he is the fucking official king of the Zoom Boom, but he will be our Chancellor-elect of having a great fucking time. We've had a hell of a week. It's Thanksgiving this week, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about a few things that we are grateful for. We're going to talk about the fact that Joe Biden's status went from president-elect to politician on Facebook, and the fact that that doesn't mean anything because Facebook doesn't mean anything. We're going to talk about the Great Reset was trending on Twitter, proving that it might not just be a crazy conspiracy theory. We're going to talk about the myth that the turkey was supposed to be the national bird. We're going to talk about a couple great articles that Babylon Bee's been putting out. And lastly, we're going to corn up the cheese factor here. And we're going to talk about a few things that we're grateful for, because we might be funny men, but we're also grateful for a lot of things. And there's a lot of silver linings in COVID, and we'll get to that later. But without further ado, I welcome to the spotlight stage the Vice President-elect, Mr. G.W. Foley.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yes, it is.
So yeah, that was back in the day where you used to all do like a few minutes of dedicated stage time. This brings us to season 2. I'm not sure. I think I was in the office by this point, like in the studio that I currently reside in now. We'll see in a second. This was the first season on StreamYard. It did like a full year on Zoom.
Are you saying you want to show me your tits? This is a weird show.
That clip still resides in the...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You've stumbled upon the Drunken Under Quarantine show, presented to you by the Will and Mill Comedy Club. I'm here, of course, here with G.W. Foley. Matt Mead is on the couch. Colin Doyle will be joining us in a second. People are already commenting in. Sean's warmed my heart. Jason says, good evening, bitches. Good evening, bitches. Sean says, with diamond minds dripping with serrated wit, history will be made tonight. I don't know quite about history being made, but we will have a hell of a show with Matt. We're going to get ready for Thanksgiving. Might even get a little wooey at the end and talk about what we're grateful for. But we got a lot to talk about. First off, we're going to talk about some weed. Secondly, we're going to talk about overpriced turkey. We're going to talk about a Vermont line cook who is stupid. We're going to talk about a hog problem in California. Finally, I'll drink to that. We got a story about... Some Jack. Sorry, wrong button. I am a drunk magician. You gotta watch out for these things. The story of a lot of almost $500,000 in whiskey flowing down the road, which damn near broke my heart. And lastly, we'll get a little bit gushy and talk about what we're grateful for. But without further ado, welcome to the spotlight stage, my man, my comrade, my boy. G.W. Foley is in the house.
What is up, motherfuckers?
Oh, you can see the evolution of the show. It gets better until it gets worse. Oh, season 3.
Very adult topics. You're ready for a very adult evening. Please get ready for the Drunken Under Quarantine show, season 3. Remember, stay safe, stay drunk, stay underwhelming.
I hope this is as much fun for you guys as it's Hey man, Sean. Sean said Matt's blow up girlfriend was classic. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we need to have her back on the show as a panelist. That'd be great. Throwing back them throwback tunes. To be clear, the new tunes are directly based on these, as far as timing and instrumentation go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Drunken Under Quarantine Show, Season 3, Episode Turkey, your official Thanksgiving pregame show. Also, Timcast Alternative, because there's none of that tonight, so I put that in the title. So maybe we'll have some new people drop by when they search for his stream that's not going. But we have a lot to get into, so without further ado, let's get on to Episode Turkey. Close, give medical care. Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thanksgiving Eve. Welcome to the Drunken Under Quarantine Show, Season 3, Episode Turkey. It's also Episode 30. It's nice and line just like that. Sean's down in the comments already said, if you want total security, go to prison. There you're fed, clothed, given medical care, and so on. The only thing lacking is freedom. Very good point. That would be a good way to be fed and such, but who knows? You could even get your degree. That might work out for G-Dubs. We'll see what happens in the near future.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome the Christmas tree to the set. I guess the Halloween tree has gone away, and I'm getting ready for the holidays. So ho, 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 bitches.
Yeah. To be fair, at this point, I don't have the Christmas tree set up, and I should, considering this Thanksgiving was the latest it could be. We got one more
Christmas
quick
tree,
clip.
or is it a non-denominational holiday bush?
Oh no, it's a Christmas tree on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's a Christmas tree. We do Christmas presents. We don't play any of that shit. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't think people should celebrate other holidays. But like, I'm not a Christian at all. I fucking love Christmas, bro. Like I was raised Christian, Protestant to be specific. I did communion. I got or not communion. I got baptized. I did like what's the adult one called? Confirmation. I've given a speech in a Protestant church on Christmas Eve. But I myself find myself in a position where I refer to myself as Protestant agnostic. Like, if I had to fall back, like if it was ultimately up to like, where do you fall in line? I'd be like, yeah, probably with the Protestants. Definitely with the Jews or the Christians at the very least. Like, that would be, I'm not a big fan of Catholics, but Jew Christian would probably be where I fall, because that's where like my moral foundational base is based. But now Protestant agnostic was where I referred to myself growing up, and now it's probably, I don't know, more theoretical questioning agnostic, I guess. If I had to like put a name on it. But
More spiritual than religious, would you say?
yeah, but I also, with the term spiritual, like, I also don't want to be conflated with the people that believe in crystals, like, I guess that's where I put it, is like, I would agree if we were like in a normal, like, facts-based society, but when people say spiritual now, it's basically like people who believe in crystals and dowsing rods and shit. And I'm like, yeah, that's not exactly, that doesn't exactly line up. I basically refer to myself as Protestant agnostic because it lines up with my moral framework. I guess because that's like how I was raised, and that's how I basically view the Constitution, in that same moral framework of past Christianity that's not overbearing. Sean said
Would
I'm
it be
noticing
fair
patterns.
to say, oops, I
Oh,
apologize.
please. No, please.
No, Sean is priority number
Sean
one.
said I'm noticing patterns. Perhaps I should give myself a restraining order. Seems I am a stalker of the comments. Now it is funny that the first couple comments in the past season's show for Thanksgiving were you. It's just me. I love that, man. Thank you for being here, Sean. Like that's
No
wild,
doubt.
right? Like that you were here tonight on the pre-Thanksgiving show for like the 5th stream I've done the night before Thanksgiving. Albeit, no matter how underwhelming it was, and ran by a dude formerly known as the Drunken Underwhelming, which might be fair for tonight's stream because I've worked like 65, 70 hours in the past week, and are definitely enjoying a cocktail this evening. But transition to the Dank Underwhelming. A magician who's losing weight rapidly and being kind of jacked, and who might go into his final form here in the next, I don't know, 6 or 7 months. Hopefully that's the thing. But yeah, it's wild that I pulled up past streams for the past like 4 years, and the first comments that popped up were you. It's like that really says something about the show. Is that people who get it fucking get it, and
Word.
and that people that don't like come by and drop by for a few episodes, and like don't get me wrong, I have all the love for everybody who drops by the show and even spends 10 minutes just bullshitting in the chat room. But like Sean, it's real, when I look at it the past 5 years, I'm like literally the first chats were you the entire time, and you helped shape the program. You had a serious impact on the show and the direction that was going. And Sean said, interviewing Brad from 5 Times August, it proved to me the little guy could be heard. Yeah, that was fucking wild, dude. We had 2 interviews with Brad from 5 Times August. Specifically because Brad found my video. Like it wasn't like my show had done well, because it's never really done that well. I mean, it's the ramblings of a fucking drunk magician on whatever's going on, and him like talking to interesting guests. And even sometimes not talking to interesting guests, just him fucking rambling for an hour about whatever's going on in the news. And even though I was doing a lot of reactions at the time, which I'm hopefully to get back to here in the next couple weeks, and blow up the base even more. But it was that Brad's video got banned, like shadow banned, like hard shadow banned, like to the point where he searched the title of his video, and the first video to pop up was my reaction to him. Like it wasn't even his music video that popped up in the search results when he searched his own fucking video. And this was about what's it called? Fauci. It was about Fauci. It was called like Sad Little Man by 5 Times August. Great song, great fucking video. But he had produced the video and put it out, and literally when he YouTube searched it, the first video to come up was not his video. It was my reaction to it. To which he found me, he reached out to me, he sent me a cash out or a Venmo saying thank you. And I was like, that's what really caught my attention, was like, holy shit, who just sent me a $25 Venmo over nothing? You know what I mean? Like, it was like the first time I had ever received money for no reason. I was like, oh shit, okay, I gotta look this up. And then I looked it up and I realized, oh no, it's because like when it came in on Venmo, it was like his name. It didn't say like parentheses 5 Times August. You know what I mean? It didn't like have any, because the band name is 5 Times August. And his actual name is Brad Skimitkus or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm bad at pronouncing names. But when it came over on Venmo, it said Brad Skimitkus, and like at that point, I didn't know his name. I just knew the band's name, and I'd watched the video and reacted to like 2 of their videos. So it hadn't really like crossed my mind until I saw this chat comment or this Venmo comment, and I was like, "Oh, holy shit! Okay, I gotta look into this." And looked into it, saw it with him, and I was like, reached out and was like, "Yo, I do a live stream show. You want to be part of that?" And then he did. We did a second one, and it kind of blew up. And like I was like, at this point, I'm like, I'm not gonna reach out to him again. Like he's been on Glenn Beck and a bunch of other shows. Like maybe I should, but on the flip side, like I'm not gonna bother the guy. Like if he wants to, like get back in touch with me, he'll get back in touch with me. And so I haven't had him on, but yeah, no, it was a wild moment on the show, Sean. I will say. He said, "Do not sell yourself short. The censorship regime definitely helped reduce your numbers." Yeah, no, I mean, just the demonetization machine. Like, I feel like we've probably monetized 4 episodes of this show successfully. Even though they've had consistent viewership, albeit that not that much, which is also probably part of the demonetization thing. But like we've had consistent viewership just kind of trickle off the past 4 seasons. I feel like part of that's probably YouTube, Facebook not wanting to share so much. But yeah.
100%.
So the subjects we spoke on, dared the system shut you down? I mean, that very well could be fair, my friend. Is that if I had treaded lighter, if
you had fallen in line and if you would have done what the algorithm wanted you to do, then you wouldn't have had any problems. You wouldn't have caused any waves to ripples, and you wouldn't have had any problems. But then you would have been like everybody else, and nobody wants that echo chamber.
Yeah. And even with the guests, like if I had given more prompting and been like, hey, like, because this show's always been a show where like I don't tell the guests what they can say or what they can't say. I'm just kind of like, hey, try not to get me banned. Like that's really like and even that shouldn't have to be said. You know what I mean? Like, not only should it not have to be said, because like things that are blatantly going to get you banned on YouTube, like for the most part, I don't talk about most of those things anyways, because I do a largely different show. Like if I wanted to talk about the gritty, nasty parts of the internet, like we could talk about, but I don't really like care to, because it's not like what I want to spend my fucking free time on. But like mostly the rules for the guests are just like, hey, don't say anything that'll get us banned on mainstream tech. Other than that, like we can talk about whatever we want. And and even then, that's enough to be like I'm pretty sure the machine was like, oh, you talked about Hunter Biden's laptop like 10 different times on your show. That's enough. We don't tolerate that. We're gonna downrank you. It's like, okay, I don't care, because like this is the point of my show, is that like it's just I'm a magician hosting a show who just wants to talk with people and have conversations or talk about the bullshit that's going on with myself. And like if the mainstream can't handle that, then like, we have bigger issues than my show. And it seems like we have bigger issues than my show. Do you agree, Max?
We discuss in way of life in general, but if somebody is pinpoint dead set and dedicated to do nothing more than nitpick your show and the content that you choose to distribute and put out there, then fuck them. And I mean that in a way of those that want to troll and be disrespectful and not take into account that you understand that free speech does not leave you free of consequence, and you take that, and so do the guests that you have on your show, very seriously. So nobody's here that I've seen or been a part of that has done that. And if it is being done, it's being done by the algorithms written by the biased individuals that are employed by Google, YouTube, wherever you, Alphabet Inc., which is the company that controls it all, which is an extension of the US government. I'm just saying. That's a fact. But
Amen. Sean said, "Yeah, Hickory, you missed out on all that Camel Toe Harris money." Yeah, no, I should have just licked the boot, my friend.
yeah, how do you go
in
how do you go in debt with that? How does that happen?
how do you earn $1.5 billion and end up $20 million in debt in 107 days? It's mind-boggling, my friend. Like as I go back to like that's the theme of the show tonight is mind-boggling, which is what I'll eventually bring up if anybody. Because I want to get back to the MSNBC CNN line is that you should not hang out on Thanksgiving with your relatives if they were Trump supporters. And I offered up earlier in the show the reason you should not hang out with them if they voted for the Harris regime.
Honestly, did you really think that she ever had a chance? I mean, did you buy into what the media was trying to push any point
Dude,
in time to
even
think?
even the reports coming out right now were saying that her internal polling said she never had a chance. And that they all knew that she was going to lose. And then she came out with a video which we're gonna watch in a minute. Before we do that, we're gonna relive some memories. This is a year ago. This was the first episode of TDAU Live. It was Turkey Day pregame, and yeah, we're gonna watch this real quick. Watch the opening monologue, and then we're gonna get into because I pulled up Kamala's latest video where the internet's basically saying she speaks worse than a drunk magician. All I'm gonna say is that there's people online who've shown up. Rakita Law speaks better than this lady. But before we get into that, yeah, this is the opening episode of TDU Live, episode 1. That's right, we're on episode 18B. This probably should have been episode season 2B. 1B. I don't know if I had done it correctly. But yeah, we'll get to that next year probably.
Welcome to TDAU Live. We're just Hickory, the drunken underwhelming, hang out, have a grand old time with y'all. We're gonna go through some news stories. I'm gonna roast some news. We're gonna do some normal things this week. It's gonna be fun. It's been a while. Glad to be back. Thank you guys for having me, and welcome to the show. Yeah, a couple things we're gonna go through tonight. Apparently, people just found out the Army sells ammo to civilians. We got COVID mask updates and all sorts of stuff going on. So hope you guys enjoy the new videos. Let's get into the show.
Yeah.
Back, baby.
Are you saying you want to show me your tits?
This is the story of a drunk.
Yeah. And that was the first episode with the current videos maybe mildly altered since then. But here we go. Yeah. And now we're up to TDU Live. This technically season 2. 1B. But the first one. And, Max, thank you for joining me, brother.
Thank you for having me on this Thanksgiving Eve of the drunk and overwhelming.
That's right. Yeah, normally the dank and underwhelming, but we're on a special episode tonight. We're having some beers because I worked fucking 60 hours this past week. It's about damn time.
Great. You helped make America great again. You made Thanksgiving great again. You made people full again for the next 3 fucking weeks. I don't know
That's right.
if anybody realizes the shit that you had to do that. I do.
Oh, it's been a wild couple weeks. Not gonna lie. And Yeah, for all those who didn't get their turkey until this past week, to be fair, I ordered that shit 2 months ago. Just to be
Are you trying
clear.
to say that Thanksgiving doesn't come every year for the last, I don't know, million years since the beginning of fucking time at the same time every year that people didn't have
It
enough time
does,
to
but
prep
with
for
it does, but with the amount of people who reached out in like the past week and a half, you'd swear to God this thing hadn't been on the calendar since they were born. You know what I mean? Like that's like the ultimate fallback for me is just to be like, I'm sorry, sir, I can't set aside a turkey for you. Uh, this holiday has been on the calendar since I was literally born. And why I say that is because you can go to Google Calendars and look up 2040, and it will tell you when Thanksgiving is going to be that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a surprise. Like, we all know how the formula is figured out. It's like the last Thursday in February. That's a whole week. Like, that's Thanksgiving. It's like Christmas. I'm like, that shit's December 25th every year. Like, how have you not thought about ordering anything or getting anything special until it was 3 days before? Like, if you're ordering shit December 23rd, like, you're way too late. Like, anybody that has half a brain who works in the industry is going to tell you to get lost if you try to order something December 23rd. As they should, because that's what I do. I'm not entertaining that. I did
start
do.
off on this. In case you are one of those people that procrastinated for whatever reason, the Chinese sell the shit out of some duck tomorrow. So that is always an option, no matter where you are in America.
Doing a duck?
Uh,
What?
no,
What
my
size?
dad's doing
Oh,
my
okay,
dad's doing
fair.
duck. We're going old school. We're going old school. We're turkeying the shit up. We're getting tired. I've been sober for fucking like 15 years or whatever now.
Yeah,
So
congratulations, brother.
oh no, it's a gift and a curse. Believe me, there's plenty of times I'd like to drink, like right now.
I understand. I'm sorry to bring that on you.
Oh no, bro, I'm good. I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Okay, good. I felt kind of bad because I was like, the last time I had Max on the show, I was like, hey, I'm 60 days sober. And like, it was awesome. And to be honest, I've maintained that good point past that. And then I was like, at a certain point, I was like, I'm going to drink for Thanksgiving Eve and Thanksgiving. And then I'm going to go back on sober for a while, which I also think is a good option for people who, I don't mean I'm not trying to hate it all, like for people who handle it. Like there's a very different, there's multiple classes of people who need to be sober. You know what I mean? And like I don't mean to downplay it like I'm pretending that I'm like a fucking alcoholic who's trying to pretend that I can maintain it. But it's like, no, at a certain point, I'm one of those weird people in my brain where I could switch back and forth and be like, okay, I'm sober for the next 10 weeks and just do it. Whereas a lot of people can't. And my heart goes out to them because I'm not Sean said everybody likes a stuffed pussycat. Oh, after that, he said,
Or
before that, he said, no turkey, no problem, cat, the other white meat.
they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the cats and the dogs. And right now, they're getting the fuck out of Springfield.
Yeah. And it was all a lie until 2 weeks after the debate. But yeah, if you need Thanksgiving cooking advice, even though it's this late, you could go to the Drunken Underwhelming channel and see this.
Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming. I'm about to teach you how to dominate your Thanksgiving.
That's right. 3 recipes,
Oh.
2 types of mashed potatoes and stuffing. We're gonna get to it in this video. So I'm gonna start by dicing up some onions. I'm showing you with this knife just because if I can do it with this big knife, you can do it with any knife. Knife skills are something that everybody should know. But yeah, we're gonna quickly dice. This is my beautiful, I love this blade. Yes, it is not the right tool for the job, but that is on purpose. Because I wanted to look, you know, kind of badass on camera. And anyways, we're gonna start by dicing some onions. These are for the stuffing. And so in this recipe, we're gonna make my super sausage stuffing as well as 2 types of mashed potatoes. We're gonna do rosemary parmesan and bacon caramelized onion and cheddar mashed potatoes. The onions are being sliced now for the caramelized onions or the caramelized onion bacon cheddar mashed potatoes. Yeah, I go all out. We don't hold back, man. It's Thanksgiving. You want to dominate Thanksgiving, let everyone know that you know what you're doing. This is a great way to do it, and I do it in exactly this order. I filmed this in order. It was actually filmed from last year's Thanksgiving. And yeah, here we go. Black River meets bacon. Selected because on the back it basically tells you if you don't know how to cook bacon, you should contact your local politician and let them know that school has failed us, which it has. So anyways, here we are. Dicing some bacon. Real simple, just cut into small chunks. It really doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna complain if the bacon's too big or too small. They're gonna be in the mashed potatoes, all that flavor is gonna be all up in there. And yeah, so next we're gonna check out some sausage. I like to use, this is Vermont salumi, maple breakfast sausage. You could use any sage or maple breakfast sausage as your base one. I use the Vermont maple sausage from Green Mountain Smokehouse. The links, I'm gonna start by searing the links in a cast iron pan. Heads up, you should probably...
To be fair, this is exactly what I'm doing this year. So see, I didn't realize how accurate this video was until I started rewatching it again. I'm like, yep, this is exactly the recipes I'm making this year for Thanksgiving, for those who don't know.
spray it. I didn't in this video, but that's something you can learn from my mistakes, my friends. So yeah, we're gonna saute those out. You're gonna basically just get a good sear on both sides. Place them evenly in the pan, and we're gonna do a little flipperoo. Basically, we're just browning them. You are not fully cooking these sausages at this point. And the reason for doing these first is so that you don't have to use a separate pan. This is all one cast iron pan for the entire batch of stuffing, and that's actually what we're gonna bake it in. So it's really, the stuffing, as rich, delectable, and delicious as it is a one-pan dish, which is awesome. Not too bad to clean up. So after those are seared, we're gonna take them off now. Put those on a paper plate or a plate. If you want to do dishes, put them on a regular plate, but we're a little white trash around here. So we're gonna put these on a paper plate. And then we learned our lesson. We're gonna spray it. Next, we're gonna throw the Vermont maple breakfast sausage from Vermont salumi in there. And then I have a couple ends from work. That's we typically slice these into patties, and we end up with some ends. So they come in like a 5-pound block. It's probably like 2 pounds or so. We're gonna use 2 bags of stuffing. We use 2 packages of breakfast links. So there's about 4-ish pounds of sausage in the stuffing. But it's Thanksgiving. Like, stop worrying about calories. What are you doing? Don't worry about that. Anyways, we're gonna chop this up. I'm using a fish spatula. You could use
I would agree with that to this day. Like, if you're worried about calories on Thanksgiving or Christmas, you probably have an eating disorder. Like, go work that shit out.
It's a personal problem, bro.
My computer just decided it was being weird. You still there, Max?
My fault.
Can you see me still?
I'm here. I see you. Token white guy. No problem. No problem.
Is it still shared? Like the... Oh, there we go. Stage. No, weird. My browser on this side has decided it wanted to be weird.
Dude, same shit to me when I went on live earlier.
Yeah, just being weird. Okay, we're gonna keep playing like it's normal.
It's
With any type of spatula.
that's free.
I wouldn't use a
That's
rubber
free,
one, but any type of metal spatula would work for this. Kind of chop it up. We're gonna get about halfway cooked on it. We're gonna get like a nice brown before we move into our next step. At this point, you should have your stuffing mix off to the side. I'll show you in a second what I used. You should have your stock out, your salt, pepper out. You got your sausage links on the side. You are ready to go. You got some butter out. Yep, just choppy, and boom, we're moving right into Brown Town. Oh yeah. Then we're gonna add the onions. Flavor Town coming on up. Yeah, a little bit of sear on there. We're gonna let those cook for a few minutes. Let the onions sweat out. You want them pretty much cooked by the time you start adding in any bread. I mean, this is gonna cook in the oven. But yeah, right about there, you can see they're pretty well sweated out. Now we're gonna take just our normal bag of herb stuffing. Drop that in there. Nice tip is to add a little bit of Bell's turkey seasoning into your stuffing as well. Now let that cook for a minute. We're gonna kind of stir it around, let it absorb some of the sausage fat and onion juice that is cooked out. And it's gonna absorb a little bit, but then we are going to go and add some stock. Yeah, that's the point where we just added some stock. We're stirring it around now. The amount of stock you're gonna have to add is gonna be dependent on lots of things, including, and not including, included but not up into the humidity in your area. Yes, that will actually affect a lot of baking and such, especially things like this where you're trying to regulate the amount of moisture in it. It's pretty dry up here. So there I added a little bit more. I added a little too much stock, so we added a little more stuffing. Now we're gonna pile the sausages on top of there. And we're gonna add a couple slabs of butter on top. And then that bad boy's ready to go in the oven. So that's gonna get set off aside. Now we're gonna get to our mashed potato prep. Because, mashed potatoes, super important. Something everybody loves at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, mashed potato prep coming up.
And yeah, the stuffing is gonna be great. So yeah, we're gonna start by cooking off that bacon. We're gonna cook it down pretty good, man. You want this bacon, I like to get it crispy. It's gonna take a few minutes for sure. And you probably wanna go a little longer than you think you are. And you're gonna wanna babysit it. Because bacon can be temperamental, especially when you're trying to get it this crispy. Because it's only gonna get soggier sitting in the mashed potatoes. Like, it's not gonna get crispier over time. It's only gonna get soggier. We're gonna really take our time here, let that bacon cook out until it's got a nice level of darkness to it. You know, want most of that fat rendered out, and then we're just about there. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to pull the bacon to the side. We're gonna use another paper plate, pull the bacon out with a pair of tongs, and then we're gonna drain off that bacon fat. Oh yeah, nice drain job. We're gonna leave some in there because we're gonna caramelize our onions in this bacon fat. That's gonna add a whole lot of flavor to the entire dish. Oh yeah, a nice little sear going on there. ASMR sizzle. But yeah, we're gonna mix those around with a pair of tongs. They're gonna cook for quite a while. Caramelized onions should take you a while. I used to have a friend that said if they don't take you less than a couple hours, you're doing it wrong. I obviously didn't go that long. This is probably took me about 20 minutes to get there. And they're nice, super tender, pretty sweet. And we got our bacon on the side. Oh yeah, next it's ready to prep the potatoes. We're not gonna peel these russets. I used to have to peel potatoes. You may run into a situation where you have family members who have dietary restrictions and such. You know, I have a high rate of diverticulitis in my family, so I used to have to peel everything and make sure there was no seeds and no stringy bits and all sorts of food restrictions, and not so much anymore. So now we're going to take a quart of heavy cream, we're going to split it in two, so it's going to get a pint per batch. We're going to put a pint in the...
That's so true. We got a pint of heavy cream in each batch mashed potatoes this year, and a half pound of butter. Max, what do you think so far? Look all right.
My fucking screen, bro.
It's being weird.
I love it.
That's the onions. We put the bacon back on top of it. The other one is just straight cream. We're gonna add a whole stick of butter to it. And by to it, I mean to each batch of cream for the mashed potatoes. And I misspoke. We're gonna add 2 sticks of butter each batch of mashed potatoes. Yeah, don't worry about calories, guys. It's Thanksgiving. You're gonna your family's gonna love this. Next, we're gonna take a few sprigs of rosemary and drop them right into the milk and the cream and the butter. We're gonna let that simmer. You want to kind of steep it. Keep it at a medium low, and it will just absorb a ton of rosemary flavor. You don't want to let it go too long. You might want to taste the cream butter mixture every once in a while. Realize that the potatoes will dilute that flavor a bit, but it's still going to be, it can get too strong, in which case I would just melt some fresh butter and cream and only use part of the rosemary one. But if you're paying attention, it shouldn't be too bad. And yeah, look at that sexy butter melt on top of that bacon. Oh yeah, that is some beautiful stuff right there. So yeah, we got the oven going on, 375, and start. Potatoes are boiling. Yeah, basically the only point of dicing them is they take less time. You could skip that step, or you could just use small red bliss potatoes. You can drain the potatoes out, of course. And oh yeah, look at them, perfectly done. That's definitely one that you want to make sure you get right, is make sure your mashed potato cook. There they are, falling back into the bowl. We're about to go to Mash Town. I love my little masher thing. This is like the most fun part of prepping Thanksgiving. I mean, other than cooking the sausage and having the house just smell like sausage and bacon all day, that's pretty sweet too. But yeah, here we go, just mashing up them taters. And we're gonna do this for both batches, obviously. It's the exact same steps for both. That's the beauty of flavoring your cream, is that you could even cook, if you had, say, a really big pot, you could cook all your potatoes in one batch, then split them out into multiple bowls after mashing them, and then mix in your creams, and you'd have different types of potatoes. It's also a good time to add other garnishes if you want. Say you wanted, I don't know, you get all sorts of funky stuff in there. You want blue cheese in one of them? Blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes would be pretty sweet. You could do all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, we're gonna scoop out the rosemary, get out most of it. Now, you don't really want much of those leaves left in there because they're not fun. They don't feel good in your teeth, which is why we're using the little scooper to get those out. Also, that's a diverticulitis issue if you have someone in your family that has that. Here we go. Let's mount those mashed potatoes, all that butter and cream. Ooh. Yeah, we lost a couple of rosemary leaves there. That's gonna be fine. You just don't want the majority of them in there. Oh man, that was a sexy pour right there.
Yeah, it was.
The bacon and the onions just getting down. Next, we're gonna add a bag. Now here's a pro tip. Use a 50% fat cheddar, because you've already got all the fat from the bacon. Well, not all the fat from the bacon. You took some out, but the fat from the bacon and the cream and the butter. And it would behoove you to use a sharp, light cheddar. But yeah, don't get scared of the salt either. Don't wuss out on me now. And that will prevent them from being, a lot of times when I used to make these and I would use a full fat cheddar, people would be like, oh, they're kind of greasy. Using a half fat cheddar will definitely help that situation. Here we go, just mash it down in. It doesn't really matter if you break up those onions or not. All that flavor is going to be there. You're still going to get the texture. Here we are, just using some cheap grated Parmesan. You could use shredded Parmesan. You could use shaved Parmesan. You can really do whatever the hell you want with these. You could do rosemary cheddar. You could put some thyme in there. This is just a template for you to take and take with you to dominate your Thanksgiving. Because isn't that what it's all about? Is being the guy that brings the dish that everybody absolutely loves. And this is how I transfer it down the road. 2 pots and a brown box. And here is a picture of the finished product. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a little bit. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you dominate. I hope that everything comes out great. Here's a little flyby of the whole spread down there at Thanksgiving. I didn't make all these dishes. I just made the stuffing and the mashed potatoes, but just other people do put in work, and we have an awesome Thanksgiving every year. I'm really stoked about it this year. And back to my stuff. Oh yeah. Bacon caramelized onion mashed potatoes, hickory super sausage stuffing, and finally, the rosemary parmesan taters. Hope you guys have a beautiful Thanksgiving. Cheers. Drunk Magician out.
Yeah, just a quick video to remind you all how you can go and dominate Thanksgiving. Nope, streamer is still being weird for me. You good, Max?
Worried that you might have some kind of home invasion, that someone saw that, and I'm so hungry right now. That was amazing. That was the most beautiful shit I have seen all day.
Sorry to do that to you, brother. I'm excited about the holiday.
No,
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm even more excited now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make some of that. I'm not gonna make it anywhere near as good as you, but I'm gonna try.
Oh, you can give me a call anytime, brother. We'll walk it through. It's not hard. It's as I tell people normally, cooking is not hard. It's just you figuring out what works together. And yeah, that one is part of me is excited because like the diverticulitis people in my family have moved south, which like I'm sad that they left because I love them. But I'm also excited because it opens up my culinary opportunities a lot. But yeah, no, that's actually like that lineup is exactly what I'm doing tomorrow. I've got 10 pounds of potatoes, a quart of cream, a pound of butter, rosemary, bacon, sausage bulk and breakfast set aside, turkey stock, two things of like stuffing prepping mix. Like I'm ready to wake up and do it. And unfortunately, I was excited because it was going to be a second gym membership. I was excited to go to my second gym, which unfortunately is Planet Fitness. But they were open tomorrow morning. I was excited to go and like get like a nice heavy leg and back focus session done. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna get like 5 to 6 inches of snow overnight, which I'm not used to driving in, and that's pretty much gonna limit the day to me sitting around watching the Macy's Day Parade and prepping out Thanksgiving. What's your day look like tomorrow, sir? Oh yeah, usually the football comes on. My uncle, who cooks the turkey, also is super big into football, so he'll be watching it. Usually, what the football games means for me is that I eat the big ass dinner with everybody, and then I go to their living room and fall asleep while he's watching football. And pretend to care about it. That's usually my role on Thanksgiving. I show up with a bunch of food, eat a bunch, get sleepy, fall asleep on their couch, and then the beautiful assistant wakes me up and says, "Hey, we got to pack some desserts." We pack those, come home, take a nap for a little bit, get up, eat some pie, go back to sleep, and then go about my week as normal. What's it mean for you, my friend?
Yeah, everything sounds very similar. There is a 2 nap minimum. The football is generally in the background, but not as a distraction, but just to have people that are into it able to watch it. But this year it's going to be different because normally my dad would be there, his wife and their son would be here, my in-laws would be here, plus my brother and his family would be here. This year everybody's doing their own separate thing. Everybody except for my in-laws, they're going to be here, but my brother and my dad they haven't been feeling well. They don't want to get anybody sick, and they've got other obligations as well. And trying to shuffle around to do 4 different Thanksgivings is a pain in the ass for anybody. So totally understand. It's going to be relaxed and chilled
Understood.
out, which is something I'm not used to. But I'm looking forward to it all the same. I'm just thankful to be able to be a part of another one. To be honest with you.
And that, brother. Yeah, excited to be a part of another Thanksgiving where my family hasn't been told that they shouldn't have Thanksgiving with me because I have certain political views. Even though I'm pretty sure most of the people at my Thanksgiving will have the same political views as I do. What a
I would
mind-boggling time we
imagine
live
so.
in.
Otherwise, they're really not. And if they
Which is
don't,
crazy
then they're
because
still going to enjoy the food one way or the other.
we live in a state where most people don't. You know what I mean? So it's cool to like to come together with my family and realize that, like, oh yeah, no, we're all pretty based up in these hills. It's always nice to realize that they kind of come from the same fruit as I do, and which can't be said amongst all people. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
A lot of people
I
are
know.
gonna fly out to places they've never been to have a Thanksgiving with people that they thought they knew, and are now realizing, oh shit, these people are not like me at all.
These
Which is
people are
sad.
fucking terrible human beings.
Yep.
These are real pieces of shit. I'm sorry that I ever got Mandarin and Russian. I can help you with the Russian. I don't know about the Mandarin.
John said, happy Thanksgiving, Hickory Clan. Be looking forward for you next week. Don't forget to brush up on your Mandarin and Russian. I'm working on statements like, please don't shoot, or my dog is truly not a
Пожалуйста, не
savage.
стреляй меня would be please don't shoot. And then what was the other one? Моя собака не хочет, чтобы ты ее скушал.
My
So,
dog is truly
if you
not
want any
edible.
help in Russian, let me know. I will gladly walk anybody through anything Russian, Hebrew, Yiddish, little bit of Hebrew, and Espanol, and some French.
I think Sean's worries it's mostly going to be Chinese, to be honest. I don't know.
Пожалуйста, не стреляй меня. And моя собака не хочет, чтобы ты скушал ее. Just remember those two. Just rewind this one part over and over again.
Sean, before we
I
go, I'm
promise
gonna,
you.
or Max, before we go, I'm gonna click out and try to rejoin because like it's being weird. I can't see all the things.
Plus, you got to save the best for
So I
last
might
with the
disappear for a
alcoholic
second.
that
I'll
made
be
the
right back,
statement.
buddy.
No, brother. I
That's fair.
will hold down the fort
No.
in this emergency situation. Luckily for everybody, I'm not going to fuck up. Not to worry. I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize the show or the channel or anything, regardless, no matter what. Sean, thank you very much for being a part of the show, for being a part of this Thanksgiving, and everybody else. Also, we wish you the best, nothing but the best on this Thanksgiving Eve. And I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I'll be going live tomorrow, Thanksgiving. It'll be in the evening time during the evening game, which is going to be with the Dolphins. So if you would like to watch that with me, it's a watch along, and I'll be commentating as well. So it'll be a lot of fun. It's against Green Bay in Green Bay. So Dolphins and Packers tomorrow night.
Nice. What time?
You did perfect, bro.
What time was the game though?
Oh, the evening game, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be 7:30.
So
And I do
8:30
not believe it
Eastern
is
Standard,
8:30 Eastern
7:30
Standard Time.
Central. Yep. Yeah,
And
we're working on
the
that.
time difference always.
Working on that with Max and I about getting the time differential down because Max is an hour behind.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
it's always confusing whether it's an hour or 2 hours. But we got it right this week.
And we did. We did. It wasn't always that easy, though. We make
No,
it sound
fair
easy
enough.
now, but going live at any time, you're always going to run into difficulties, and especially with StreamYard, who's charging an extra $50 to have problems.
Yeah, don't
just
forget
saying.
about that.
I can look at my analytics on Restream, and it'll tell me if there's any issue at all, and it'll tell me everything I want to know. Nah, with StreamYard.
Yeah, that would be
Just
nice
saying.
for them to tell me every week, oh, yeah, we had this issue. You had to back out of your browser and leave your guests in charge of the show. Not that I have any issues leaving any guests that I have on generally in charge, because I feel like they wouldn't be a guest if I didn't trust them enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, there shouldn't be a position where you're like in the position where you're like, hey, nothing works on my browser. I need to back out and come back in, and hopefully my guest doesn't say some insane shit. Yeah, that shouldn't be like a concern that you ever have. And here we are. Thank you, StreamYard. I appreciate the amount of money you've been extracting from me.
Ditto.
On that being said, if I didn't have StreamYard, I wouldn't have met Max. I wouldn't have met Nicole and a bunch of other awesome people who have come on the show and just been absolutely awesome. Wouldn't have been able to have drag queen Mona Lotz on the show. Wouldn't have been able to have Nicole Shivatoni from God. I wish I remembered the names better. Upstate. Yeah, from sorry, Sean or Max, you got it?
Yeah, Paranormal Nicole from
yeah, I'm trying to remember the name.
Oh,
remember the name of the paranormal investigations, but from upstate New York, who I might actually be meeting next year, assuming that the UFO convention in upstate New York isn't too close to the point where my wife's going to give birth. We were looking forward to that next year. It might be a big maybe, depending on when this child decides to show up. So, yeah.
By the way, again, get all the sleep you can.
Oh yeah, been working on that 8 to 9 hours a week. Mostly because right now it's just been crazy as far as work goes. So trying to get as much in as I can, and feel like I basically work and sleep this past week. It's kind of how the holiday rolls for most people in the service industry. It's like, yeah, work.
Service industry.
Shout outs to them.
It would be.
Because
absolutely,
yeah,
it wouldn't be.
Can't imagine what it's like in a place like New York. You're just overrun by migrants. You got to like put out a Thanksgiving dinner for people who don't care about it. Like, at least when I know I'm making Thanksgiving, like it's all for people who actually care. Took the time to like source, like whether it's at work, it's like people who took time to source the local turkey, who like took time to make sure the gravy was made by a respectable business locally. People that like didn't have time to make stuffing or potatoes, so they're just like buying them from a local store. Versus all the people in the city this week that are going to be producing Thanksgiving for a bunch of people who are going to look at it and be like, oh, that's culturally insensitive. And then it's all going to get thrown out. And you're going to be looking at it like, oh, wow, these people are ungrateful as fuck. I'm glad I made Thanksgiving for a bunch of people who are ungrateful. And yeah, my heart goes out to you guys. I can't imagine.
What little empathy I have. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit, because you all voted for this. Fucking idiots. Anyways.
Yes. Speaking of idiots, speaking of alcoholic idiots that almost got put into a position of power, I'll let you take it from there, because
That's
this
right.
is
We got some
the-
video pulled
the-
up. I just
Oh
gotta
my
find
God.
which browser tab it is, because yeah, those
And
are
while
all
you're
the
looking for
ones.
that, I'm just going to say that I grew up with my mom, my dad, and my grandma, bless her soul, and bless my mom. They've both been gone for a long time. And my dad, he's still around. But raging alcoholics that love to beat the kids, which in this case was a single child, and that being me, not complaining, toughing me up, no complaints. Some would call it discipline. Some would call it child abuse. I didn't know the difference, so it's okay. My point is this. I know a fucking alcoholic when I see one. And this crazy lady, she makes Nancy Pelosi look like a rookie. She makes her look like a shitty fucking tryout on a fucking sorority. It's not even funny. Passes out after fucking 2 drinks. You don't even have
That's
to roofie her
mind-boggling.
beer. It's fucking Jesus. I saw it and I said, oh my God, somebody thought this was a good idea?
Oh, wait, that might be
we
the-
lost audio again.
Yeah. Might not be the right one. Share screen. Share screen. Gotta turn on audio because it's a thing now. Okay.
Not to knock against StreamYard again, but I expect more. Just going to say for the last time, you price on me like government.
And it was nice. It was nice because, I think our listeners and viewers know she and I are friends. And so, you want to make sure, yes, she's the vice president. Yes, she was the candidate. Yes, she was the nominee. But she's also a woman. She's also an aunt. She's a friend. She's a wife. She's a human being with feelings. And so it was nice to be able to catch up, talk about how she's doing, talk about how I'm
That was a
doing.
woman talking about chatting with
She's
her
a
after
woman of
the-
incredible strength.
incredible strength.
Undeniable.
Don't you ever let, I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So
Like, I feel like that was the point where she was looking in the camera and realized how bad her necklines looked. Right? Like earlier, like she's like leaned over a little bit in the necklines, and then she was like, oh shit, I gotta stand up. I gotta sit up straight. Hold on.
purpose that you did. And you have the same
Right there.
ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you. I just have to remind you.
Oh.
Somebody reminded her to take the bottle and glass of recording.
like mind-boggling. They couldn't wake her up at like 3 in the afternoon without her being hammered to be like, "Hey, we need to record a fucking, we need to record a video real quick." Oh man, like
Somebody almost voted for that. Somebody actually did vote for that.
oh, a lot of people voted for that, which is mine. As we get back to the show, mind-boggling. It's been, I feel like the theme of the show. It's just like how crazy it is that not only was there a group of people fervent to vote for the person, there was $1.5 billion spent to try to get this person elected to office, and they ended up $20 million in debt. Still didn't make it about a person who was literally smeared as Hitler, a fascist in the news. Who then had people
get assassinated
twice, possibly 3 times, and then a whole bunch of stories this week about his cabinet being threatened.
Yeah,
But the fact that
everything else.
yeah, and meanwhile, half of the country looked at this, or maybe didn't look at this, and was like, but that's fine. This is the person I want leading us into a world where we could possibly face World War III with Russia. We could face it with China. We could face it with anyone else. And then we're still like, you know what? No, this is what we got. This is perfect. I don't want to have to think about it. I just want a candidate that's been installed and tells me this is the right thing to do, and then uses rhetoric on the lines of my opponent is fucking Hitler and a fascist, and he's a threat to our democracy, even though I've been installed and not democratically nominated even once in my life. And here we are.
Single primary?
Yep. No primary race. In the first primary, got less delegates than people who defected to Trump team, to be clear, because Tulsi Gabbard got more delegates than Kamala Harris did. Back in, what was that, 2020?
2020.
Yep. Just mind-boggling. As the show goes back to on this Thanksgiving Eve, where we hope you aren't quite mind-boggled. We hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Hang out with your family, no matter how brain dead they are. Even if the media has told them not to enjoy Thanksgiving with you, you enjoy Thanksgiving with them because you're the better person. And you realize that most of these people are stupid. And they voted for whatever the mainstream said they should vote for. They didn't actually vote for the children that were being trafficked. They voted for what they thought was right. And that's literally the saving grace over the people who would openly support Biden walls in my life. Is that, like, I don't think they actually knew what they were voting for. They were so brainwashed into thinking they were voting against fascism, they actually voted for it. And they were so brainwashed that they ran on protecting women and children that they actually voted against it. But maybe that's just my vision on it. This has been the pre-Thanksgiving show, TDAU Live, with Max Trubin. Max, what else you got to say?
I'd like to thank everybody, including yourself, for having me on.
Cheers, brother.
I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I wish everybody the best out there. Enjoy the time tomorrow with family and friends. If that's what you're doing. Be grateful that you're in the greatest place on earth, in the United States of America, with fellow patriots like myself and Hickory. And I thank you all for being a part of the pre-Thanksgiving show. And I feel honored to be a part of it as well. And I thank you again Mr. Kyle, for having me on again.
Oh, thank you, Max. You're welcome anytime. Literally, open invitation. I don't just say this private chats. I say this publicly. Anytime you want to be on the show, just shoot me a message and be like, "Yo, I'll be on the show tonight." And like,
We should have
like
a
you have
weekly segment.
yeah, you have the same pass that GW has. Like GW literally has open pass, and he was going to be on this week, but he experienced some computer issues, unfortunately, which I was excited about. Like he was going to be on. He is going to be up, I will say, in December. He'll be part of Movie Roast, December 13th with Pierre Vachon, myself, Art Monahagan, or however the fuck that guy pronounces his name. GW Foley will be at the Middlebury Marquee Theater live roasting Die Hard, which would be our Christmas movie for this year. We roasted Face Off this past month, which was hysterical. Because I don't feel like I've ever watched that movie as an adult, like paying attention. And by God, is it an awful movie. All I got to say is, you know, if you sleep with a guy after 18 years, and he's a different guy with a different face, you might realize that other things are different. But then I bring it back to modern times, and I'm like, you know, that's the level of dissidence that these people have, is that if some guy came back home with the same face, with a completely different attitude and a completely different body, most of these people will be like, yeah, same guy. Mildly eye-opening. But you ever watch Face Off, Sean or Max?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Have you ever watched Face Off? Like the John Travolta, Nicolas Cage movie?
I have. I'm Castor Troy.
Yeah, so that was the movie we roasted last month.
I literally want to take his face off.
We laughed our asses off because they said face off at least 4 or 5 different times throughout the movie. I think that's one of those things that movie roast celebrates, is when they say the name of the movie in the movie.
Repeat.
But yeah, it was one of those where I'm like, holy shit. It's this movie like had a lot of production value and some great stars, but nobody vetted the script, you know. Just looking at it like, yeah, I'm sure this will do great. Because otherwise they would have like taken some time and been like, hey, there's actually some cool stuff we can do in this. Instead of this, yep, 100%, my friend. Anyways, that's all I got. We've been almost 2 hours. This is the pre-Thanksgiving episode. I do hope all of you guys have a beautiful Thanksgiving tomorrow with your family. I hope you enjoyed the turkey, the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, all of the sides, the Brussels sprouts. I don't know. You guys do mac and cheese and fried greens or braised greens? Yeah, that's cool. Whatever you guys do down south, that's totally cool. I had a recent chat about that with a friend. Said, you know, I was talking to my friend and he said, I asked him what his favorite side was from Thanksgiving. He said mac and cheese. Have you ever had mac and cheese? And I was like, no, dude, that boy's from the South. That's some straight up Southern shit right there. Like, we don't do mac and cheese and braised greens up here. But no hate, because if you're saying that the mac and cheese is in the top 3 sides at your Thanksgiving dinner, it's probably dope. It's probably some real good mac and cheese. You know what I mean? It's not that like government cheese, Velveeta, New England white trash shit. It's probably actually really good.
Government cheese is a real thing if people don't realize that Reagan actually gave it away during his administration because it started going bad. And they have so much of this shit, they have it underground and they still have this shit to my knowledge. It just sits there in big blocks.
Yeah, there's a great video by the Fat Electrician about the government cheese caves.
Yep.
And now we're
It's
storing a bunch of that.
It's a real thing. All because of the 1970 dairy shortage. We overproduced, which made it's a mess. Every time the government steps in trying to fix a fucking problem, they end up making it even worse than it was to begin with. Nothing's
It
really
started
changed.
before that, my friend. It started back in World War II, where we literally had so much dairy, so much power, that during World War II, the US government created a ship that produced ice cream in Europe to feed to the US soldiers. Basically, just to flex on how poor Germany was going through the war. And to flex on them and be like, you guys can't even get fresh vegetables. We can produce ice cream for our troops on your physical front. Not even back in the States. But like, we can make ice cream on a ship in your area. Just to prove how shitty you guys are doing and how great capitalism is. And it's sad that America's lost that.
It's true. And one thing that people may not know, the U.S. never declared war against Nazi Germany. They declared war against Japan, and Nazi Germany, being allied with Imperial Japan at the time, declared war on the U.S. But
yeah, it just kind of got looped in.
Yes.
Yeah, they wouldn't actually declare it. Because, Lord forbid, and even then, since then, with all the wars this great country that I call home has been involved in, not a single declaration through my entire lifetime on this planet I've ever declared war on anybody, but we've waged war against almost everybody. Crazy.
Yes.
A long ways from
With
where
good
we were, my
reason.
friend. Oh, of course. Anyways, I feel like I've said this 3 times now. That's all I got. Thank you, guys. This has been TDAU Live, episode 18B. The Boys Talk Turkey and Trimmings with Max Trubin. And I'm pretty sure I could have put more T words in there. But, not every time. Anyways, from the drunk magician with the turkey hat on, I hope you guys all have a beautiful Thanksgiving. Hang out with your family. If they're misinformed, I'm sorry. This is some shit you got to deal with. But don't stoop down to their level where you think that their opinions don't matter. Because if anything, if they think you shouldn't be there because of your opinions, their opinions are misinformed and not really all that American. As we should all be able to voice our opinions and have a civil conversation about what's going on, as I often try to do on this show. And as Max tries to do often in his life, even though he's come from some places that didn't have civil conversations at all, has grown to realize that that's really all we got left, man, is to have those hard conversations with friends when they look at you and say ridiculous shit like, well, if we send all the illegals back, who will pick the crops? You just look at them and be like, yeah, I'm sure we had a real hard time figuring out who's going to pick the cotton back in the 1800s, but we fucking figured it out, didn't we? And we freed a bunch of people and didn't have them as a working underclass. Sometimes you just got to break it down like that. And things will get a lot better in the future, as I'm hoping. As I'm sure Max is hoping. As I'm sure you guys out there in the ether are hoping. Anything else before we go, Max?
Said it best, and you said it first, and I'm not going to try to play sloppy seconds and trumpet. No pun intended.
Yeah, that's right. Orange Man rad. It's a cultural shift in this country. We'll see what happens. Until next week, because who knows? The whole thing could flip on its head by then. I'm, of course, Hickory the Dank and Unrolling. Please give a follow to Max. Max, you want to shout out your channel name real quick before we go?
I believe it is the. What is my channel name?
Real Jew.
I'm Captain Jumerica.
Yeah, Captain Jumerica.
All one word at Real Russian Jew 77.
Yeah, please go give Max a follow. As I have on my private account, I will be sure to officially on this one. But go check him out. He's got some really interesting videos coming up. And some interesting stuff he's done in the past. Some I don't even know how to phrase it. The undercover journalism that he's done. Fascinating. Some stuff I'm sure you guys want to see because the really shitty parts are hiding out there right in front of you. But that's all I got. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm, of course, TDAU Live. Hickory the Dank. This has been TDAU Live, episode 18B. The Boys Talk Turkey and Trimmings. Max Trubin, and we will see you guys next week post Thanksgiving. That's right. It's the first lead up to Christmas. Who knows? Max will be back on soon. Hopefully GW gets this set, and he'll be back on. And of course, I got to reach out, but I have a 99% chance that the sloppy Santa will be on just before Christmas, and that's always a fun conversation. Get in touch with Santa while he's hammered to shit, trying to figure out what's going on for the holidays. Anyways, that's all I got. Till next time, guys, stay safe, stay drunk, stay underwhelming. Most importantly, it's trying times, stay sane. I'll see you guys next week. Till then, Dank Magician out. Cheers.
Above all else, I just want to say thank you. Have a beautiful night. Drunk Magician out. Cheers. Now let's get the credits. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the help. Cause this is a show I do by myself.